Dear students, myself Kiran MP. I am working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Government Engineering College, Kushalnagar. In today's session, let me have a discussion to some advanced features of tables. In the earlier session, in the previous session, we had an introduction to basics of table in HTML. In previous session, we have seen how to create a table and what is that HTML element to create table, that is the table itself. Also in previous session, we have seen how to create a row in each table and what is that HTML element, that is TR, stands for table row. Also in previous session, we have discussed how to create a data cell in each row. And what is that key element, HTML element, that is TD, stands for table data. Now in this session we'll discuss the other features, the other properties of tables, such as how to label the headers. Got it? Suppose, let me say, in your result sheet, okay, if you consider, what you see, the first row used to contain the header fields, which might be displayed in bold, stating that in the first column, first row, okay, first cell states that USN number, means all other entries in that particular column represents USN. The next header say student name. The next header subject code. Clear? So in previous session I have not created header for any table we have discussed. Okay, so now in this session let me create a table with a table header in the first row. Okay, so also in this session, okay, let me discuss the one more important property, what we call spanning rows and columns. Suppose to say each row in a table usually contains the same number of data cells. Clear? Or same number of header fields. Suppose I want any single cell to span or to cover several cells, okay, either in a column or in the row. Okay, how to achieve that we'll see. So now let me have a look at the agenda of this session. So first we'll see what actually table headings. So how to label how to specify the header in the first row. Got it? So what is that HTML element to specify headers in the first row of a table so that those information will be displayed in bold. So next we'll see why we need table headings. Okay, what is the need of table headings? So in the next we'll see an important attribute column span, okay, and row span. I said, right, see, every rows usually contains same number of data cells. Suppose I want a single cell to span several cells in the same row or in the same column. So how to achieve that? Okay, these two attributes does that. Next, we'll look at tables for layout. At the last, we'll look at some important additional table tags, and then we will wind up the session. So now look at this slide, okay? This slide gives you how we can label the first row. Clear? And just look at a table displayed in this slide. The first row contains information: title, artist, year, width, height. Clear? And as you can see, they are displayed in bold, right? So how to make them bold? Whereas the other two rows contains informations. They are just I'll call a simple data. Whereas the first row information, I'll call them as an header. Okay. Remember, we discussed in a previous session, to create a table, the HTML element is table. Clear? So as you can see in the HTML code fragment, I start with an HTML element table. Now I am about to create the first row, so I will use HTML element tr. Now this is the first row, and I want the first row should contain headers, okay, so that they should be highlighted in bold, right? So instead of using td, I am using th. Th means table header. So each of this information, title, artist, year, width, height, I am enclosing in this tag th. Then I am ending the first row. Next, to begin the next row, I'll again use element tr. Now the second and third row contains information, okay, just a data. So I am using a tag td. Okay. So now I'll end the table using a slash table. Okay. So now when I launch this code fragment, HTML code fragment in my browser, this is how you are going to see. Clear? So you can see title is aligned center and it is displayed bold. So got it about, I think you're now clear with table headings, right? So tag to create an header, to highlight the headers, to make the headers bold. So why table headings? I said the browsers make them bold. And it's for accessibility. And it provides some semantics, some meaningful semantic information about row being a row of headers. I mean, the header specifies, semantic means we know it's a meaning, right? What actually that particular column contains. simply if there is no header, okay, the column may contain any information, okay. So in order to interpret those information clearly, we need some highlight, okay. So, this header field, what it does, it says what actually those information, whether it's a name or whether it's a USN, not whether it's a subject code, clear. So this is what semantic. So now I said each row contains, okay, same number of rows, same number of cells, is it? So yes, and now let me come back to previous slide once again. See here, each row contains same number of cells. Clear? Suppose now I want a particular cell to span several cells in the same row or in the same column. Okay, so how to achieve that? First we'll have a look at example of such a table, then I'll tell you. So now look at this table, okay. First have a look at second and third row. In second and third row you can see in each of the second and third row there are 5 columns, 5 data cells, right? Whereas in first row there are only 4 columns, I mean 4 header fields or 4 data cells. You can see in first row this fourth cell has been spanned to the next cell also. Got it? So now look at a code fragment. Okay. Now to create the first row I use tr tag. You are familiar with this, right? In the tr tag I have used th to specify title, to specify artist, to specify year. I mean I have enclosed title, artist, year within a closing, opening and closing th tags. But look at the last header, that is size, width into it, okay. This I have enclosed within th tag, but for the th tag I specified an attribute what is known as call span equals to. This stands for column span. I mean to say this informs the browser to display this cell spanning the current cell with the next cell in the same row. Got it? So column span attribute informs the browser, okay, to display the current cell spanning the next cell in the same row. So I think you're clear with how to span the columns, right? Similarly, we can span rows also. To span row, we use row span. Now, there's just about layout, okay. So tables for layout, it was in popular in 1990s. Results in what is known as table bloat, not semantic, larger HTML pages. Now this is an example of table layout. Just have a look at this code fragment, HTML code fragment, and the corresponding web page. So now coming to additional table tags, okay. there's the tag known as caption. Okay, to give to specify caption for the table. And there are some other of these captions often used. Okay, then we also have some other table text called column group, t-at, t-foot, t-body. Okay, there are some additional table tags. With this, I'll wind up this session. Thank you.